Hello everyone, back to today's third video. We're going to have a look at the ECMWF, Meteo France and DWD long range update for today's third video. It's going to take us through the next 3 tri-monthly periods, which does get us into the autumn, can you believe? So it's a bit of an extended look ahead. For today's third video update, just to say that earlier on today, we had our second batch of autumn analogues, and also GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup returned after having a week off last week. So both those videos on the homepage at GavsWeatherVids.com right now. And of course the autumn update will be placed on the autumn updates page with a written summary as well. I'll get back to you tonight. I'm going to be live streaming in a couple of hours. We'll be live streaming from around 5 o'clock on the channel. So yes, our live stream coming up later on this afternoon. In that one, we'll be having a look at the Beijing Climate Centre. And we'll be seeing what Beijing Climate Centre is showing for the winter of 2021. So it's going to be quite an interesting watch. It'll be from 5 o'clock this afternoon on the YouTube channel. Okay then, so let's deal with the Copernicus update for June. Now though, and we're going to have a look at Meteo France to start us off with. So as you know, with this we have a look at mean sea level pressure anomalies from Meteo France and then corresponding temperature precipitation anomalies, and we do the same for the ECMWF and also for the DWD as well. But we start off with the mean sea level pressure anomaly from Meteo France for July, August, September 2020, and you can see that with this one we've got an area of high pressure sitting over and just to the western country in the Atlantic. So we're bringing in wind light from a northwesterly direction. It does look a little bit mixed. It looks like it could be just a little bit on the cooler side and just perhaps a little bit on the more showery side with that one as well. But overall not particularly unsettled because high pressure is in the Atlantic. Then we go through to the next tri-monthly period, which takes us to August, September, October. So beginning to move in towards the autumn quarters then. High pressure then extending in from the Atlantic into the UK and on up to northern parts of Europe. Low pressure is away to the north. Jet stream is pushed northwards as well. So that brings quite a lot of dry weather with it as we go further on into the autumn. That ridge is extending further eastwards and starting to come a little bit centre over top of the UK. So you'd expect the weather to be going drier actually as we start moving on into the autumn. Then we go through to the third and final tri-monthly period, which takes us through to September, October, November. So this is for the autumn 2020. And high pressure is over top of the country, really. So an area of high pressure sitting over the UK and Northern Europe. Low pressure is away up here. Not much sign of a polar vortex, really. And jet stream is pushed northwards as well. So quite an anti-cyclonic autumn coming up there, if Meteo France is right with that one. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies then from Meteo France. So we come back to July, August, September. So we've got high pressure out to our west, of course. We're bringing in the wind from like a west to northwesterly direction. Now, this does look a little bit cooler than average, and we don't see this very often with these seasonal anomaly maps for temperature anyway. But it is showing quite a cool sort of tri-monthly period for July, August, September here, with below average temperatures both to the north of the country and also into parts of Scotland as well. Still ever so slightly above average for England and Wales. And we come further southwards and there we do come into above average temperatures then by around half a degree to 1 degree or more across France, for example. But that does look like a rather cooler anomaly than we typically see for northern parts of Europe there. So that's quite interesting. Don't see that very often, below average temperatures being forecast. Excuse me. The next tri-monthly period from Meteo France will take us through August, September, October. Again, looks a little bit cooler than average to the north of the country, but less so than we have in that first tri-monthly period. But nevertheless, again, still a bit on the cool side, I think, for many northern and northwestern parts of Europe. Elsewhere, though, slightly above average temperatures, again, by around half a degree to 1 degree above average. And then the last tri-monthly period takes us through September, October, November, and this is how it looks. Beginning to lose those cool and average temperature anomalies, but certainly not particularly warm. I mean, not particularly a hot period, but what warmth there is, looks like it's across France, Spain, Portugal, sort of around half a degree to 1 degree above average there. into some parts of the UK and Ireland, we're around half a degree above average, not all that far from average really. And then northern and eastern parts of Europe, just generally coming out average or no signal. So certainly not an excessively warm sort of 3 tri-monthly periods to come from Meteo France. And then we've got precipitation anomalies from Meteo France. So this would be precipitation anomaly for July, August, September. Looking drier than average really for many parts of Europe. A bit wetter than average up across Scandinavia. Otherwise, Ireland, the UK, France, Germany, Low Countries, all those sort of areas drier than average. Really quite substantially so when we push down towards like southern Germany, southern France, and into the Alps. So quite a strong signal to be pretty dry. Telling us that the Atlantic is likely to be blocked off through this period. August, September, October looks like that. So rather dry than average again, particularly across France and also Germany. For the UK and for Ireland, near normal to hinting at being a bit drier than average. I think we're still on the drier than average side here through most parts of Europe. And then finally, we've got the last tri-month period for September, October, November, autumn 2020. Signals are weakening as we're going along, even as the high pressure looks like it's coming more centrally located. And I would have thought that as we go along, we would expect things to be getting drier and drier. But bear in mind, we're going further out here, and for precipitation, often the signals the further out you go are weak. Nevertheless, I think we're still hinting at being drier than average through many parts of the UK, through France, up to all parts of Europe. So no real issues there for precipitation. It does look as though the second half of the year is likely to be relatively dry. Right, let's move over to the ECM then. So this is how the ECMWF mean sea level pressure anomalies are looking for the next three tri-monthly periods. Starting again in July, August, September, with higher pressure again to our west and southwest jet stream coming through just here. So again, you'd expect, you'd expect quite a bit of dry weather. It's not completely dry. You have got influences from the jet stream, especially the further north you go. But we are quite close to high pressure. The Atlantic looks like it's relatively blocked there. So you won't expect a particularly wet period. High pressure kind of strengthens as we go through August, September, October. Very similar signals to what Meteo France was showing. Higher pressure is strengthening here with this ridge from the Atlantic going into western parts of Europe. And then the last tri-monthly period takes us through September, October, November. And again, with this one, high pressure is like in the ascendancy. It's in control, sitting very close to the country and to western parts of Europe. So no particular issues there. It looks like we have quite a lot of high pressure in the next 3 tri-monthly periods. Temperatures from ECMWF, temperature anomalies look like this. Again, not a particularly strong signal to be warmer than average. It does look like it's a little bit above average, like kind of around Baltic Sea, some parts of France, into southern UK. A bit cooler than average though out in the Atlantic and to the north, that's in the Norwegian Sea. And I mean, it just looks very, very average, and whilst it might be a little bit above average, it doesn't look excessively warm as we come to this late summer period. So maybe we're going to have like quite a coolish sort of late summer period. August, September, October shows above average temperatures, signals increasing a little bit actually. So then we've got like France going to around half degree to 1 degree above average, and many parts of Europe just going a little bit above average in those yellow shadings, which is kind of like just half a degree to it's just like average to half a degree above average really. Oops, that went wrong. And then we want to go to our last tri-monthly period, and that one is for September, October, November. So this is how temperature anomalies look for the autumn of 2020. Not all that far from average. Again, so I've got these orange colours, which is around half a degree to 1 degree above average in many parts of Europe. For the UK and Ireland, we're just like half a degree, average half a degree above average. It's not an excessively hot period at all. Yes, a little bit on the mild and average side, but nothing overly excessive and not all that far from average really. Precipitation with Meteo France looks like that for the first tri-monthly period, July, August, September, wet and average up towards Scandinavia. Otherwise, most places coming out with all seem to be weekly sort of drier than average, a weak signal to be drier than average. Next tri-monthly period looks very similar for August, September, October. Again, Scandinavia, particularly northern Scandinavia, looks a little bit wetter than average. Otherwise, most other parts of Europe sort of just a little bit drier than average. Not excessively so, but certainly on the slightly drier than average side. And then the final tri-month period for September, October, November, again, looks wetter than average up to the very far north, up here. But otherwise, we hint at I'm having no signal or being on the drier than average side. Remember, the further out we go, the weaker the signals will become. So both Meteo France and the ECM really in agreement about way forward in the next 3 tri-monthly periods. Relatively dry, quite a bit of high pressure, but high pressure always in a position where it doesn't allow things to get excessively hot. So while temperatures might be a little bit above average, not an excessively hot sort of end to the summer and into autumn period. And then finally got the DWD, so this is mean cell pressure anomalies from the German model for July, August, September. This one looking a little bit different. Higher pressure further away from us and in the Atlantic. That's a mid-Atlantic ridge with a trough of low pressure over Scandinavia. So that one's a little bit cooler and potentially a little bit more unsettled as well, I would have thought. With the jet stream probably doing something a little bit like that. That could be bringing in the wind from the North Atlantic. Could be quite cool. And it could be a little bit on the unsettled side as well. Now, next tri-monthly period, which is August, September, October, that one starts to look quite interesting as we're moving into the autumn. Again, it's really very different to what the other two are showing. The high pressure is much further north here. It's in the North Atlantic and even starting to edge towards southern parts of Greenland. This trough of low pressure over Scandinavia is deepening and plunging down the eastern side of Europe. That probably gives an early bite of winter, actually, to Eastern Europe. Early start to winter could be expected there for Northern and Eastern Europe, with a dip in the jet stream. For us, in the UK and Western Europe, we're probably not excessively cool, but I mean, the position of the ridge probably means there's relatively a fair amount of dry weather. The Atlantic is blocked off, but cooler compared to the other two, I would have thought, with the position of that ridge. And then the last tri-monthly period, where does that high pressure go? The last tri-monthly period, look at this. It's September, October, November. And the high pressure then is sort of south of Greenland, but also building up towards Svalbard. Now that's northern blocking appearing as we go into the main autumn period. That's September, October, November, so that is autumn 2020. Northern blocking setting up around Svalbard with the DWD and also like around Greenland, Iceland. So quite a big area of high pressure is getting going here. Quite a blocking feature. It's a shame we can't run on to the next tri-monthly period, isn't it? Which, of course, if we could, would be October, November, December. What would happen with that if we could go to the final quarter of 2020, October, November, December? Would that northern blocking, would it strengthen? But anyway, that's speculation. We can't say what happened there. But certainly that is a northern blocking signal, and you would expect wind to be coming in from the east. So it's sort of pattern that you would expect the autumn to be getting colder, not just for the UK, but through much of Northern Europe. You would expect the autumn getting colder as it goes along. Temperature anomalies look like this. So for July, August, September, hints of being a little bit above average. Again, it's very similar to the other two models. Nowhere looking excessively hot, except maybe in this southeastern corner, like from the Adriatic to the Black Sea. There we have got temperature anomalies around 1 to 2 degrees above average. So quite hot in the southeast of Europe with the DWD. But otherwise, no particularly strong signal to be excessively hot. Just average, maybe a little bit above, but nothing particularly dramatic. Now look at this. August, September, October tri-monthly period, we start to go colder than average in the UK, and some parts of Scandinavia start to go colder than average as well. For the east and the southeast of Europe, warmer than average down there. And then the last tri-monthly period is even more interesting from the DWD. It's September, October, November, autumn 2020. And look at that, colder than average appearing across not just the UK, but Ireland, France, Germany, Belgium, Holland, Denmark, southern parts of Norway. Getting colder as the autumn progresses, which we don't see with these charts very often. And it could be that the DWD has gone off on a tangent here with this, but that's what it's shown this month, that the temperature gets colder and things get more blocked, as far as northern blocking is concerned, as we go through the autumn. Then we've got precipitation on it, largely from a DWD. So first trimester period, July, August, September, looking a bit wetter than average across Scandinavia. There's a trough of low pressure through here, so that's why that's happening. Otherwise, near normal precipitation. Southern parts of Europe look a little bit drier than average. Next tri-monthly period from a DWD looks like that. Again, it is quite interesting, this. It's August, September, October. Wetter than average across Scandinavia, but beginning to back into Western Europe as well. So this trough is pulling back, where it's driving average up here. That's where we've got higher pressure getting set up towards Iceland. And then the last tri-monthly period, which is September, October, November. So we've got proper northern blocking appearing at this point. Driving average in the northern Atlantic and a little bit up here. Otherwise, quite weak signals, wetter than average around the Baltic Sea. Could be starting to go a little bit wetter than average down towards Portugal. That's possibly hints of a negative NAO beginning to get going. So as the heights rise within the northern latitudes, of course, that pushes everything southwards, and the low pressure track, which typically in the autumn will be around Iceland, that's going to get pushed down towards Spain and Portugal. So if we get northern blocking, look out for it to get wetter through that area, with the jet stream going through there, of course, forced southwards by the blocking up here. That's that blocking that pulls in the cold winds from the east and from the north. Right, that was a very interesting update this month. I hope you enjoyed it. So, I mean, it's only one model. It's only the DWD. We've got the ECM and also Meteo France, and go nowhere near that far with northern blocking through the autumn. So I don't think we can take what DWD is showing there particularly seriously until or unless it starts getting support from other models. Of course, we're going to do the first autumn 2020 seasonal model roundup next Saturday, on Saturday. So with that one, it'll be interesting to see whether there's any other models backing up the DWD idea of northern blocking and a colder autumn. But yeah, quite an interesting update this month. And we'll do it all over again next month, of course. And next month we will be able to get to that last quarter of October, November, December. So we'll see then what happens when we do next month's Meteo France, DWD, and ECMWF season 1 update. Right, that's it for that one. We're going to be live streaming at 5 o'clock. I think that will have you talking. I think we'll have questions from that live stream about this update, probably. Don't forget to check out GavsWeatherVids Roundup and the second batch of autumn analogues. Both videos on the homepage right now, and we're going to see you live with our live stream in a couple of hours. So see you then. But for this update, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.